right, so your first meeting this year with Michigan State, is it all the same Michigan State stuff as every year with adapting transition defense, things like that, or is this team in?
Yeah, I mean, they're obviously, they have very good guards that can break you down. They can score in bunches. I think obviously with Tyson Walker's ability to put up big numbers, which he did in the one game against us last year, but also Hogard, we had a tough time in the Big Ten tournament a couple years ago keeping him in front of us. And staying with those guys, Akins' percentages are great. I know he didn't have a good game last game, but normally when guys have great percentages and struggle in a game, they normally shoot pretty well the next game. So, like, those three guys, put you in a bind just because it's three guys that can get into the paint and do different things, but they all can be very, very effective. And then Malik Hall's really played well. And obviously he played well in February, and I think he's averaged around 18 in February. But just his ability to make shots, make plays, post up, drive it, just a very, very versatile, player. So I think that's, from us, from a defensive standpoint, I think that's where it starts with. It doesn't mean they don't have other guys that can hurt you, because they do. But I think first and foremost, we're going to have to do a good job of being with those guys and making it hard on them. So yeah, that's, we're ready for them to play one-on-one. We're ready for them to double with their big. We're ready for them to cover down ball side, whatever, delayed doubles, whatever it is. We've seen a lot of things. It doesn't mean any of those things can't be effective, because they can. And you've seen us where we've had success against everything that I mentioned, and you see where some of that gives us trouble at times. So you just got to make good decisions and understand what they're doing and how they're going about it.
You mentioned all year kind of doing the things to get back to the situation you were in a year ago.
Right
now, you have a chance to go at least clinch a share of the Big Ten. So
right.
These guys, I mean, you want them to buy in, but it seems like you're at the situation now where it's like, okay, everything's in front of us that we thought we played well.
Yeah, proud of our guys. It's hard for where we sat last year when we lost at the end of the year to say, hey, we got to fight like hell and battle to get ourselves in this position. Again, to hopefully, have a chance to win a Big Ten championship and do well in the Big Ten tournament, and then obviously, most importantly, do well in the NCAA tournament. But our guys have done a really good job, and just trying to, keep our focus and keep playing with the purpose and just doing a lot of little things.
You had a long time off since the last game. What kind of extra things do you do when you've got that extra, time? Is it just off time?
Give them more time off. So we took off Monday and Wednesday. I don't like to go 3 days in a row without practicing, so we practiced Tuesday and then obviously practiced yesterday and practiced today more than anything. But we don't go. We'll get to about an hour and 15 minutes of actual basketball stuff, and that's about it. Just a little different late in the year to have a game, even though it seems to happen every year, where the first time you're playing somebody is in March or late February, something like that. So obviously playing Michigan State now, they're not new to us in terms of a staff or, seniors and juniors on your team, but just the fact that, now you're not talking about playing somebody for that second time where you're a little bit familiar just like they are.
Kind of feels like, you look at Ohio State's roster, and you mentioned when you look at the players individually,
right,
really good team, just they didn't put it together. Michigan State feels like when you look at the individual talent,
right,
man, that's a roster that's pretty scary.
Yeah, no question about that. I think, we talked about it with Ohio State, and just trying to get that consistency of everybody, playing well together or playing well enough, to put themselves in a position to win. And obviously, Ohio State's been able to do that. And Ohio State's last two wins, they did it, without Jamison Battle at Michigan State, and they did it without Bruce Thornton last night against Nebraska, two teams that are slotted in to go into the NCAA tournament. So it just kind of shows you, if you're doing things well and doing things collectively, you can win some games. And Michigan State's, guard play is something that, Hogard's a guy that's had big games in the NCAA tournament, had 25 points in the NCAA tournament game, and so his ability to break you down, his ability to make plays and set up his teammates to go along with Akins and Tyson Walker's ability to score, and then, Malik Hall's played so well. And so, when you think about those four guys and four, main pieces, they have a lot of bodies to throw at you at that center slot. They bring in Cohen Carr, who is as athletic as anybody in the country. And though I haven't even mentioned Holloman. Holloman's had a great year. He's really improved. with more opportunity from his freshman to sophomore year. He makes, he makes good decision. He's a good shooter. His percentages from three, and it's timely. Yeah, it's a hard thing to do to come off the bench and, you know, not get as many shots or many opportunities as everybody else and still shoot a really good percentage. But, you know, Holloman's really played well this year.
With most of the season, it looks, you know, obviously Trey playing next to Zach. Have you gotten out of that what you intended to when you worked that in the summer?
Yeah, but I'm also at the luxury of being able to play other people there too. And so, like, obviously Mason Gillis is a starter for us, even though he doesn't actually start, plays more minutes than Trey. And, you know, he gets that advantage, especially late in games, you know, because Mason, you know, is our best, percentage-wise, our best free throw shooter. He stretches the defense for us. But, no, Trey's done a really good job. You know, he's had some other games where he's got involved a little bit more. I think when you play alongside Zach, sometimes the attention they give him can really help you. And then there's other times where, you know, we play through Braden so much and we play through Zach so much. If you can't get some things off the glass, it's going to be hard for you. You got to kind of organically be able to find your way. But you also got to do other things. You're not always going to score. I think you see that with everybody in our lineup, you know, outside of Zach. You know, it's not always going to be your game to score. You got to keep doing little things, and he's done a good job of
You
that.
sort of view that position like you used to when Zach and Travion were together, and you view it as the collective